In today's video, I am going to be talking about misotheism and atheism. I'm going to start this video off by stating that both of these positions are valid positions, but they are not the same position. And in my opinion, it is very unlikely that someone is both an atheist and a misotheist. I definitely think that there are individuals who, if they were transformed or if they changed their position from atheism to theism, they would become misotheists, but I don't think that there are people who are both at the same time. If you're interested in hearing me expand upon these claims of mine, I would love for you to stick around, and at the end of the video for you to let me know what you think of what I said. Misotheists are individuals who hate God or gods. And I definitely think that that's a reasonable position to hold. If you read the Bible, the Quran, or any other holy text or any other descriptors of deities, and you find their behavior repugnant, then it's perfectly reasonable to hate those beings if you think that they engage in immoral actions. There are many gods that were written and created to incite such feelings, and that's fine. But I generally don't think that someone can be both a non-believer and a misotheist unless they are logically consistent and hold also similar feelings of hatred for other equally unpleasant fictional characters like Voldemort, as an example. And it's important that people understand that if you generally lack a belief, you also probably don't hate the thing that you don't believe in. I am an atheist, which means that I lack a belief in God and in other deities that people believe in. And oftentimes, I am willing to use the language of believers in order to make it easier to communicate with them. This sometimes gets misinterpreted as an admission that I possess a belief in God, possibly unconsciously, and that something in me is repressing this knowledge. That's not the case. I am trying to make communication between me and people who believe easier. I'm trying to explain my position. I'm trying to explain why I think that even if a deity existed, if it were the deity of the Bible, I don't believe that it would be worthy of worship. But that's religious dystheism, not misotheism. I have never said that I would hate the God of the Bible if I became convinced that it actually existed. And I don't think that I would hate it, but I definitely don't think that it would be a moral being. And that's a different conversation for a different day. But it's important that people understand this distinction, because when non-believers use the language of believers to communicate, when we use the logic and contents of the Bible to explain why we hold the positions that we hold, we are not simply admitting that we believe in this text or any other holy text. What we are actually doing is we're making it easier or we're at the very least trying to make it easier to have meaningful communication. We understand that we're going to have to enter into the worldview of believers for moments to explain why we hold the positions that we hold. And I think that this is an act of kindness on our part. I think that this is something that we're doing so that we can have meaningful, genuine communication with people who don't think the way that we think. And it's a real shame that so often this gets misinterpreted, in some cases deliberately, but very often not deliberately, as us admitting something that we're not admitting. If you have had similar experiences, if you have observations about this, if you've been guilty of doing this and you're a believer, or even if you've been guilty of doing this and you're a non-believer, I would love to know. I would love to hear what you think, and I hope that if you enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to seeing other videos talking about communication between believers and non-believers, that you subscribe. Have a great day.